it's Shaily. Yes, I'm wearing a Gilmore Girls shirt, proudly. I love that show so much. So today I'm gonna be talking about books that are set abroad. For me, that means books that are not set in the US/America/the States, because that is where I currently live. So yeah, books that are set abroad. Very excited to do this. I've got a good mix of, actually it's mostly young adult, but a couple of new adults as well. All of these have elements of romance in them for sure. I would even call them romance novels, honestly. So I'm so excited to do this. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, and a lot of you have been saying that you'd be interested in seeing that. So without further ado, let's get started. The first one here, I've definitely talked about on the channel before, but I couldn't not mention it. This is A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow by Laura Taylor Namey. This is a debut novel, I believe. Yes, and it is young adults, like I said. And this one is about a girl who lives in Miami, but wait, she goes to London for the summer after she endures like 3 very challenging things over the course of senior year of high school. So her family sends her to London to stay with their family over there, who she doesn't know very well at all. They own a bed and breakfast. She's an aspiring pastry chef. So if you're really into reading about food descriptions, I would definitely do that. There are such detailed descriptions of Cuban food because she is Cuban from Miami, lives in Little Havana, and then also food that people eat in London, which is really cool. And reading about the fusion of the two, I mean, it's just brilliant, and like you will be hungry reading this book, so definitely grab a snack. The next book I have started and not finished, so I am not saying that I recommend it because I have not finished it yet. And to be honest, there's like a scene in here that does not feel young adult, and I'm not sure why this is marketed as young adult, to be honest with you. But this is called Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hingwen. This is going to be a film. I think they've already filmed it, I'm not sure. This one is about a girl who goes to Taiwan, and there's like a specific summer trip that happens every year that a lot of kids go on, and it's her first time going, and she basically just makes these new friends. She has a love interest. It's just a different kind of situation for her because at home her parents are really strict, and she doesn't really get to go after the things that she wants very much. Like she wants to be a dancer, but her parents don't want that for her. And so on this trip she thinks it's going to be super strict, but actually the kids often run away and get into mischief and get away with a lot of things. And so she just has a summer where she can like let go, let loose, and have new experiences. Definitely reading about the setting of Taiwan has been really interesting to me so far. And there's also a companion novel called Love Boat Reunion, and it's set in the point of view of her best friend in the book, I believe. This one, as you can see, I've started as well. This is called One Italian Summer by Rebecca Surley. Let me tell you exactly why I picked this up. 1, it's set in Italy. I'm from Italy. I love Italy. 2, this cover is just absolutely beautiful. We've got the Amalfi Coast over here. 3, there's Jewish representation in this book. Actually, that's my #1 reason. There's Jewish representation. And 4, I need to find it. I need to show you this. It's very important. There is a quote from Lorelai Gilmore, which I will not read because that might be a spoiler. But yes, there's a Lorelai Gilmore quote at the beginning, and I was like, yeah. You know, so yeah, this is set in Positano, which is a small Italian town. I will say Positano, I haven't been there yet myself. I would love to someday. I've heard it's very beautiful. It's definitely more of like a tourist spot. I feel like people who live in Italy don't usually go there for vacationing. It's more like people from America and probably other places visit there, which makes sense because basically in this book, it's about this young woman who was really close to her mom, and they were supposed to go to Positano together because her mom had a really good experience there when she was younger, and they were supposed to go on this trip together. She was going to show her around, but unfortunately she loses her mom prematurely, but she decides to go on this trip alone, and then she may or may not see like the ghost of her mother in Positano and like hang out with her, which is like really interesting and different. And like it's just reading about the setting is obviously so beautiful. Like there are definitely a lot of really fantastic grounding details in this book so far, so if you're looking for that, definitely I would check this out. This I would say is an adult novel. Like it doesn't really read as new adult, it reads more as adult, but like still on the young side. Yeah, I'm liking this so far though. I definitely want to continue reading it. The next book that I have, so not this specific one, and I'll tell you why. So Jenna Evans Walsh wrote this companion series. She wrote Love and Gelato, which takes place in Italy, Love and Luck, which takes place in Ireland, and then Love and Olives, which takes place in Greece. They're all young adult, and Love and Olives is, like I said, the 3rd companion novel, and I haven't read it yet, which is why I can't recommend it yet, but I have read Love and Gelato and Love and Luck. I just don't have them on me. I did see a comment from someone, and I'm so sorry, I'm blanking out on your username, but this person was saying that they're really intrigued by these Jenna Evans Walsh books, so I will talk about them more. So basically, in Love and Gelato, the protagonist goes to, I believe, Tuscany. I believe she goes to Florence, and she basically stays with her father who she's never met before, and then she goes on this whole mission with this guy that she meets to uncover this mystery about her late mother. And it was just obviously so beautiful getting to read about like the settings, the scenery, the Italian characters, this girl exploring Italy for the first time, familial relationships, romance. Definitely Jenna Evans Welsh, like it is, I just love getting to like read books from her because she takes us to different places and it's super cool. And then if you want a book set in Ireland, then the second novel, the protagonist I think is like best friends with the protagonist from the first book, but she's like barely in it or something, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, like I don't even think I made the connection that they were related until like after I read the book, I'm not sure. Anyway, the protagonist basically goes on like a road trip in Ireland with a mysterious guy and her brother, I believe. That was what that was, and that was just a lot of fun to read. And it's basically literally like going on a road trip as you read it, because Welsh takes us through all these different destination spots, tourist spots, music spots in Ireland. So that was really interesting to read about. And I'm excited to read Love and Olives. It takes place in Santorini, and there's a mystery aspect to it too. These characters are always on some sort of mission, which is really interesting. So like I said, can't recommend the third one yet because I haven't read it, but I do recommend the first two. The next one is a book that I actually have not read yet, but it's on my shelf and I just thought I would mention it. If you're looking for a book that's set in Paris, I have a couple others that I'm going to talk about too that I have read. But anyway, this is called In Paris With You by Clementine Beauvoir, I believe is how you say it. So seems like the author is actually French. I just love when authors write novels that are set in the countries that they're from. It just feels so real to me because it's being written from someone who actually knows that country inside and out. Like it's not like I'm literally not hating on people who are writing books about countries that they're not from. Obviously you can see I love all these set abroad books, but there's just something different when like they're from there. Do you know what I mean? There's a different touch to it. Anyway, so this is called In Paris With You, like I said, and it says time has found them far apart until they meet once again. It says lost love doesn't have to be a tragedy. There's not always material there for a story, but for these two I'll make an exception if you don't mind. Look how shaken they are to find each other again. Look at their eyes. Ooh, oh, it's told in verse. Oh my gosh, like poetry, that's so cool. I did not know that. I love that. Very, very, very cool. And it says that the author has written for both the UK and French markets. Super cool. And it's about two people who could have fallen in love over the summer, but then like they left to their separate lives, and then they meet once again in Paris. Okay, I'm excited to read this. I love books that are set in France. Like I love. So on that note, let me give actual recommendations of books I have already read that are set in Paris. The first, if you know me at all, this is literally not a shock, not a surprise. This is literally one of my favorite books of all time. I've read it so many times, and it's called Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. With this whole new like romance resurgence that I'm seeing online, everyone talking about how much they love romance books, this book deserves to get a new wave of hype. Okay, like can we do that please? This is about a girl named Anna who, for her senior year of high school, her parents ship her off to boarding school in Paris. She doesn't want to be there, but then she soon falls in love with it when she falls in love with someone and makes a whole group of friends, a really fun cast of characters. And Stephanie Perkins is not from France. Like, she's visited, I believe. Maybe she lived there for a while, I'm not sure, but I completely just love the way that she would take us through everything, like through the eyes of Anna, who is a tourist, going along with these friends who are already familiar with the city. It was just so cool. Like it made me feel, by the end of reading this, and now I've read it many times, but even by the end of the first time, I was like, wow, I totally have an itinerary of places to go. And it just felt so natural and effortless. Like you really feel like you're in Paris when you're reading this. I'm not kidding you. You really feel like you are visiting Paris or living in Paris for the year in boarding school. And another recommendation of a book set in Paris by a French author, Anne-Sophie Genot is how I think you pronounce it, and the book is called Kisses and Croissants. Look at this beautiful cover. This book is about a girl named Mia who wants to be a ballerina, and she gets into this prestigious ballet program for 6 weeks at an academy in Paris, and she goes, and I just don't want to give away like anything really because there's some good twists and turns in here for sure. It's not your typical read, like romance read, even though there's nothing wrong with the typical romance read at all, but I just love this book. The plot twists are great, the romance is really great. It's so fun just getting to like travel through Paris, and reading about the ballet aspect was super cool too. I believe Genot said that she doesn't have a lot of experience with ballet, so she really had to teach herself, but it literally felt like it was written from someone who has been a ballerina her entire life. It was which is crazy. There's also a lot of art involved in the story and like mystery about family lineage, because the protagonist believes that she's a descendant of this ballerina who was painted by Degas, this famous artist, and she tries to track down the painting and figure out if she's really from this lineage. There are a lot of different elements and subplots in the story, and they all make the story super interesting and unique. So yeah, I just gave you 3, well, I can't recommend this one because I haven't read it yet, but several recommendations for books set in Paris. And I'm not done with the recommendations. This is Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. The second book, Tokyo Dreaming, just came out. This is about a girl who finds out she's a princess and moves to Japan to learn how to be a royal and figure out, you know, what she wants to do, like if she really wants to take on this princess role or not. There is a really fun romance in here with her bodyguard, which is so much fun to read about. I love bodyguard romance stories, and it was really fun just getting to read about Tokyo. I believe there are also some scenes set in the countryside in Japan. So it was really interesting getting taken to all these different places. Obviously this like fictional palace, right? But then also seeing the nightlife in Tokyo, the countryside, so many different places, which is really interesting. And I'm reading Tokyo Dreaming now, and we're being taken to more locations too. So definitely if you're in the mood for a book that's set in Japan, if you're in the mood for a book about royalty, then I would pick this up. Speaking of royalty, let's talk about another book, which is called The Royal We by Heather Cox and Jessica Morgan. TBH, I read half of this and I didn't finish it, and I actually really liked it, but I'm not sure why it's taking me a while to get through. Maybe I was busy at the time, but I have really enjoyed this, but I think I'm going to start over from the beginning. This is called The Royal We. Like I said, this book is about this girl who moves to the UK, I think to attend Oxford University, and then she falls in love with a prince. Yes, you heard me right. She falls in love with a prince. She goes to Oxford and she's in the UK. So you've got the royalty, you've got the academia. Well, it's more about the royalty and about like their relationship. And I believe it takes you like through time in their relationship, which is really cool. So as you can see, it takes you through time. So we love a British male protagonist. Love interest in here, he's British too. And I do have one more recommendation for you, a book that I did actually finish reading. People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry actually classifies as a book that's set abroad as well, because it is about, this is new adult, and this is, oh, and so is The Royal We. I'm not sure if I said that, but anyway, this book is new adult, and it's about this young woman who is a travel blogger, travel writer. She visits a lot of different places, and you get to read about a lot of them throughout the course of the story. Like there are a lot of flashback chapters, and so I don't remember where she goes, but I'm like pretty darn sure not all of the places are in America. If they are all in America, please forgive me, but I don't think that they are. I feel like she went to Spain, I'm not sure. But anyway, that is a recommendation as well. I just want to say thank you so much for over 6K subscribers. Thank you so much for watching, for liking my videos, commenting on them. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Feel free to stick around, check out my other videos. And by the way, I'm so glad so many of you love my Barnes & Noble book shopping vlogs. I also have 1 or 2 book shopping vlogs from Italy, and I put them all in a playlist called bookstore vlogs or book shopping vlogs, and I believe that they're literally like on my homepage, like my channel homepage, so you can check them out over there. Make sure to comment down below letting me know if you've ever read a book set abroad and what it was called, and if you liked it. Make sure not to leave any spoilers or hate, and make sure to like the video because it lets me know that you're enjoying my content and that you want more videos from me. And yeah, as always, thank you so much, and I will talk to you all later. Bye!